Good morning. A losing day for me yesterday, but I got it out with only a £40 loss, which I'm delighted with, to be perfectly honest with you. And the main culprit will be Celtic. Don't bother listening to me because I was talking to members, telling them not to get involved with Celtic. What do? Took out hefty insurance, looking for that Celtic equaliser. So I lost the insurance and lost that. What I should have done, it's what I did with Basel, was to back both teams to score no to cover that 2-0. As you can see with Basel, it paid off. So a quick walk around some of these plays. Wisla Krakow I played yesterday, personal play, looking for a Wisla Krakow equaliser. This was down purely to the in-play stats, and they got the late equaliser, probably the last kick of the match. I covered the 1-0 and was looking for Wisla to get the result. Roma and Lille, looks like the insurance paid out here on this one. And Roma missed 3 penalties. Unbelievable, Jeff. So could have made a decent return on this. And that's the reason you take the insurance out. Ratchaburi and Gamba Osaka at 1-0. I thought I'd have a punt on Gamba Osaka because I know Ratchaburi very well and they are pants. Juventus +1 against Villarreal. I backed Juve at 2.52. Did the job, thankfully. Sorry, that was the day before. Let's have a look at Rotherham and Bradford. This, a goal away from a £143 return. What I did here, I laid over 1.5 goals, back Bradford +1. It ended up becoming 2-0 to Rotherham. So what I do then, I go into the match odds. Back Bradford for £5, lay Rotherham for £5 liability. That's what produced that huge reward there. That way, if we get to a 2-1, I can cash out for a break even, which happened. I could have made a small profit here and a £5 loss on the +1. So that's always an option. It's called averaging up. If you still fancy the side that's 2-0 down, it's a good angle in. Basel and Stuttgart, I was delighted with my play here. A loss? No, not a loss. I covered 2-0 and I covered 2-1. This is the great way to cover 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, etc., etc., etc. And I might start employing both teams to score no and a cover of 2-1 because we've been caught out with... If I did this with Celtic, I would have been rewarded, wouldn't I, with a break even. And there's my old pals, Wisla Krakow. A few losses yesterday as well. The Celtic match was the main culprit, and Panathinaikos was not a system bet. I was looking, because they were so dominant, I laid over 1.5 goals, and I backed Panathinaikos in the match odds straight with the £40 stake. They did score the first goal, and I should have cashed out then, but I wasn't making a big enough profit. So I thought I'd let it run, but Go Ahead Eagles had different ideas and decided to score the next 2 goals, which I didn't quite like very much. Nottingham Forest was a loser yesterday. I think +1, -26. Yeah. That, again, it's down to Ange Postecoglou changing the team, resting Chris Wood. I don't like Ange Postecoglou as a manager compared to Nuno Espirito Santo, who had this team purring. What they would have done yesterday would have locked Midtjylland out. Simple as that. Rotherham and Bradford, as you know, would have been the biggest winner. Aberdeen and Shakhtar Donetsk, disappointed. Some matches you have to go match odds, and I should have gone match odds here. Not Shakhtar Donetsk +1. Because what do I come out of? A paltry 17 quid when I could have got 50, 60 pounds on a Shakhtar win yesterday. Very, very disappointed with that one. On to today. Let's have a quick look as we go down. So I've done some of the matches for members. Just some simple reports, which we'll have a look at a few of these. Ghent and Charleroi. Well, I'm not going to be researching these ones too much. Going to be in-play stats, particularly Super League and First Division. You'll be looking at goals, angles here. Odds on favourites at home automatically get my attention. Bournemouth and Fulham. Well, let's take a look at the expected goals element here. 7.2 scored, 5.5 conceded. You want less conceded than scored. Anything under 1 defensively is a big tick. So I think the Cherries will be looking at their defence today to be their foundation. Bournemouth can isolate Fulham's defenders in wide areas. Fulham's higher expected goals conceded rate, 1.28. So you'll be fancying the Cherries here. In the head-to-heads, they are unbeaten in the last 2 head-to-heads. And they do, apart from that aberrant October head-to-head, they don't tend to lose to Fulham. Looking at more in-depth research, what I've shared with members, I've done my own research as well, which is basically a stats look. Superior attacking expected goals profile, aggressive, high-pressing tactical approach. So I'd be fancying the Cherries at home, at least not to lose. Over 2.5 goals. Tendency for under 2.5 goals in Bournemouth matches. Fulham's away matches this season have averaged 2.67 goals. So the market's gone with Fulham's defence over Bournemouth's attack, if you understand. Instead of Bournemouth's poor unders record or good unders record at home, the market's tended towards Fulham's poorer concession rate. That's what I'm trying to say, which leaves it over 2.5 goals. So you'll be favouring the Cherries this evening, 1.85 at home as well. I like odds on favourites. Wrexham and Birmingham. Well, what you should see here, if I've done an XG for Wrexham, would be a very good XG analysis, I think. Bang, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Particularly defensively. Newly promoted side, vulnerable defensively. So any Wrexham lead, I think, in any of their matches, particularly a 2-0 lead, is layable. Don't forget, this is from 8 matches and this is from 7. So you divide that to get the average. 1.9, nearly 2 goals a game conceded. That is their Achilles heel. Today they place a Birmingham who are solid defensively. Anything under 1, as I've said. So this, for me, looks as if Wrexham could score today, but they could concede 2 goals. I would be keen to take on a Wrexham lead. Wonder what the top trading insights say. Well, indeed, laying Wrexham. The value is, of course, to lay a Wrexham lead. They are at home, so if they are leading at home, you should get a decent drop in the odds. Under 2.5, over 2.5 goals, of course, in a Wrexham match. Goodness me. I wouldn't be doing unders in a Wrexham match, that's for sure. Both teams to score, yes, totally agree. Totally agree with AI on this one. So that looks a very readable match. You're expecting goals from Wrexham. I wouldn't necessarily discount them at odds of 3. French Ligue. These are 2 newly promoted sides, Paris FC and Lorient. So while I've done the research and the expected goals for this match, what the AI has not factored in is the fact they're newly promoted and they could find each other a lot softer target than the teams they've been playing already. So watch out for this today. Competitive match, I think. Paris FC and Lorient. The last head-to-head was a 3-2 in French Ligue 2. So I'm expecting some fun and games this evening in this one. Paris FC have been very good for a newly promoted side. French Ligue 2, I tend to home in on Saint-Etienne. They aren't playing today. Newly relegated and loving it in the upper tier. Estac 12 put together some decent stats in their matches, so I'll be looking at them with interest. The mighty Hoff and FC Koln. The key determinant here with the mighty Hoff is their usual patterns. You either with them or you're not, i.e. like Bayer Leverkusen, goals before half-time and both teams to score. FC Koln, as you know, are newly promoted. That's not a surprise at all. Over 2.5 goals. You've got the reasoning here. So if you agree with the reasoning, that could be your good angle in for today's football. And my way to play overs would be to wait for 20 minutes for 0-0. Get some value. Averaging 1.8 goals for and 2.2 against. That's the Hoff, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Koln averaging 2 goals for and 1.8 against. Again, scoring and conceding 2 goals. So this does look like an interesting match for goals this evening. And the goals before half-time as well. Watch out, as ever, whenever a newly promoted side meets a side for the first time this season. We could see a surprise. It could quite simply be that their tactics don't resonate with the Hoff or make the Hoff underperform. We just don't know. That's the negative with a newly promoted side there. Irish Premier Division, First Division. I'm not doing the research anymore on these lower tier leagues. But I have done some analysis for some of these matches. I think just the basic analysis, no XG. So let's have a quick look. It should indicate, shouldn't it, favouring Derry City. Average 2.47 goals per match. Derry City's home games, 47% been overs. So it's a 50-50 really. Sligo Rovers heading up to 62%. Nearly 2/3 of matches overs. Both teams to score. Expected goals, 1.29 per match. Expected goals against of 1.82. That is concerning. Conceding more than they score. The worst goals against record when playing away this season, Sligo Rovers. So, yes, that fits in with that, doesn't it? So I would be keen to be taking on Sligo Rovers today. Waterford and Drogs, 2.45 the favourite. You know the drill by now, don't you? Athlone and Dundalk. Well, Dundalk have been putting together some ropey performances of late. But the fact of the matter is they're playing a very, very weak team today. But they are vulnerable, Dundalk. They had that recent loss at odds on to Longford. They huffed and puffed against UCD. They had a 3-3 against Kerry. So they can put together some inexplicably poor performances, conceding 3 goals and 2 goals when very, very short-priced odds-on favourite is not what we expect. So this is typical of heading off to these Irish leagues or these lower-tier leagues. You just get the unexpected factor. And Athlone did score 2 against Treaty, but they are in all sorts of bother. Both teams are scoring in 3 of the last 4. So I wouldn't be panicking if Athlone score first. I think it would be a good trade. I think I did trade Dundalk against UCD. The in-play stats will be more important to you today with Dundalk, given that poor performance against Longford. You want to make sure that they turn up today, particularly being away from home. Co-Bramblers are second in the Irish First Division, so you'll be looking for them to take advantage of the fact that they are at home and narrow the gap with Dundalk. Verona and Sassuolo. Sassuolo are your newly promoted side. Let's take a quick look here at the expected goals, and you'll see 1.6 goals a game conceded. So heading towards 2. Does look as if they can score, but they can't keep a clean sheet. 1.3 expected goals against the game, slightly better than Sassuolo's, suggesting a tighter defence for the home side. Sassuolo's attack has generated a lower expected goals per game of 1. So they're not the greatest attacking units on the side, these two, are they? I wonder if the other analysis will agree. Top trading insights are a lay of Sassuolo, the newly promoted side. So the value herein, if you agree with these insights, is to lay Sassuolo if they score first, of course. Under 2.5 goals, well, we will see. Significant offensive struggles, so that's the reason for the unders there. And both teams to score, no. So this looks like it's going to be a bit of a goal drought. And 2.6 the favourite tells you everything you need to know. NAC Breda against Groningen. We are expecting goals in this one, aren't we? Let's have a look. Now, I would be a little cautious because both of these sides have been losing to the strongest sides in the league, your Ajaxes, your Feyenoords, etc. So that can just knock the form out of kilter because they could perform far better against fellow journeymen, mid-table journeymen. Groningen to win. What's the reasoning? Superior league position. That's not a strong indicator because it's too early in the season. So I would disagree with AI on that. Higher average goals scored. Yeah, okay. Home advantage, higher goals conceded rate, and significant injury list are concerns as well. Absence of Williamson. Over 2.5 goals. Yes, give that a tick. It's the Eredivisie after all. Both teams to score, yes. Offensive capability. Groningen averaging 2 goals scored and NAC 1. When NAC's defences are concerned, their ability to counter-attack. Historically, 81% of their head-to-head matches saw both teams to score. That's a good stat as well, isn't it? Poor overall form for NAC Breda, but put it into perspective. This is something AI won't pick up and something the human will. Losing to Ajax, 20, draw. Losing to AZ Alkmaar, losing to a very much in form NEC Nijmegen. Losing to Feyenoord tells you everything, doesn't it? They're losing to the big guns, NAC Breda. So this could find them favoured today against a lesser light. But similarly, Groningen are only losing to the big guns as well. Feyenoord, PSV Eindhoven, AZ Alkmaar, NEC Nijmegen. That's a friendly though. So we see a pattern with these two. They're only losing against the big boys. So no wonder it's 2.6 the favourite because they're facing fellow lesser lights today. And it'll be a gentle respite from playing the best 3 or 4 sides in this league and inevitably not getting a result from it. So an interesting match, this one. I would be laying the late draw here. They would be eyeing the win, these two. Eredivisie, over 2.5 goal fun and games on a Friday, as ever. Moving on down, Spanish La Liga, Osasuna and Getafe. Well, goodness me. This looks a bit of a snore fest. Let's take a look. Osasuna and Getafe. So you can see again, just a quick, simple look. If the figure at the bottom is bigger than the figure at the top, you've got defensive problems. Okay. Look at Getafe, 0.66 goals scored, 0.91 conceded. So that is under 2.5 goals all day long. 1.07 scored, 1.19 conceded. Again, it's an under 2.5 goal candidate all day long, isn't it? And that's what the AI agrees with there. Osasuna win or draw is the same as laying Getafe. So if Getafe score first, that could be your angle in today. So interesting match that. Under 2.5 goals. A bit of a snore fest, but certainly Getafe gettable if leading. And that's it for today. It is my day off today, but I will be trading this evening, no doubt. Got away with it yesterday. But you just see that ill discipline. I explicitly told members that these Scottish sides in Europe are not to be trusted. And Celtic, the bar stewards, tempted me in with a £70 loss, which could have turned into a £30 profit. And of course, Bradford, my new best friends, had they got that 2-3 winner. Have a great day. I will see you for a live stream tomorrow. And please remember, this is a unique weekend. We are going to see some struggles from the big guns, potentially. This is post-Champions League. So it's going to affect Tottenham, Arsenal, post-Champions League, Chelsea and Liverpool, and pre-international break. Now, with Liverpool, we've got the interesting dilemma of 2 consecutive defeats. Are they really going to tolerate a 3rd consecutive defeat? The market's giving this Chelsea a chance. So do watch out. Post-international, pre-Champions League. Sorry, post-Champions League, pre-international. It's going to affect Marseille as well. Been in electric form, Marseille. One of the best sides in Europe at the moment for us traders. My old pal Saint-Etienne as well. Bayer Leverkusen involved in the Champions League. Dortmund and Leipzig. Dortmund in the Champions League. Bayern Munich, kind of side like Dortmund, chock full of international players. And you've just got to be a little psychologically wary. They don't want to get injured, do they? Because they want to be playing for their country. Inter Milan, Champions League. Atalanta, Champions League. And I think Man United are going for Cesc Fabregas is from Como. Como will not want to let him go. An excellent manager, old Cesc, at the moment. Champions League Ajax away from home. Could be vulnerable. Post-Champions League PSV against Pek Zwolle as well. So watch out for that pattern. Post-Champions League pre-international break. Could see these big guns. One or two of them slip up. Real Madrid, Villarreal, both Champions League sides. Atletico Bilbao have been awful this season. Performed well, but been awful, if that makes sense. Redemption today, we will see. Have a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow. And I do say I will be trading this evening, but I don't know if I'll be passing it on Telegram. But if there's something absolutely emphatic, then perhaps I will. Have a great day. If not, see you tomorrow.